Well, I'm on the farm today and I have been really busy baling hay and selling hay and a whole lot of other stuff. Thought I'd do a hay update here for June 2026. And I'm over here in my barnyard, still spraying with this 50-gallon tank. And it's really, really tedious. I don't know if you can see down there. I've got a 500 I've got a 500 gallon sprayer down there. Probably need to replace the tank on it, but it's been on my round to it list for years. But anyway, I pulled the John Deere 335 out on the International 886 and doing a little maintenance on it. So it'll be ready to go. I'm going to try it again this year, this spring, without the compression rack in there, see how that goes. The Massey Ferguson 50, and these tires are really bad. I've got a solution for that. This Massey 50 over here, my original Massey 50, it's got some trouble. So if you see up in here, one thing I've been working on is dejunkifying my barnyard. If you look down through there, everything's out of it, and I'm working my way around and then back around this way. I want a big barnyard. Including this area right in here around this barn. You know, how your place looks when you're selling hay, especially to horse people, is a reflection on the quality of your hay. And it's long overdue to get this place, spruced up. But back to the Model 50. So when I was cutting over there with the bush hog on this thing, I managed to get something into the radiator hose that comes out and goes up like that, and it pushed it over into the fan blade and sliced a hole in the back side of it. I got another hose. We had to kind of fabricate this whole hose arrangement right here when we replaced this radiator years ago. And but I got a hose that'll make that kind of S transition, but I got to trim it to fit, put it back on, and I think we'll be good to go. This is a 1962 Model 50 with a 3-cylinder Perkins diesel, same as that one over there. The International is a 1976. So, well, while I'm down here, let's look at this teff grass. I hadn't talked about it for a while. It's coming on. It's got some weed pressure in it. I'm going to be ready to cut this stuff probably in about 5 or 6 days. The problem is the weather's not looking very favorable. And I sprayed it. You can get spray. There is an herbicide out there called Latigo that you can spray on this. And so I have sprayed this field, and I don't know, the amount you put down is not very heavy, but I did that. I sprayed this field, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. There's some Johnson grass in it that just drives me crazy. And I got to get a weed wiper of some sort. So my first cutting will be, I'm not going to let it get like, right here's my knee. And you can see this stuff right now is probably about, I don't know, 12. Some places it's about 12 inches tall, some places less than that. But it's growing really fast. The nights have still been cool. Last night it was like 55 degrees up here. And this is an Ethiopian warm season grass. And I think between the dry weather, we're still in drought When I say we're having some rain, I think I mentioned that. We're just having a few little showers here and there, nothing that sits in and drops, 3 or 4 inches on us. But you can see out through here, the weed pressure's a little worse out around this side of the barn, and you can see some stuff out there. And I thought about clipping it just to get rid of some of that stuff, but I think I want to take a first cut as soon as I can. I did not hammer this teff grass with fertilizer as hard as I did last year because I was concerned that it would just grow like it did last year, and then we get thunderstorms and hail and it falls over and lodges, and that was a disaster. So but when I cut it, I am going to fertilize, and I'm hoping to get 3 cuts out of this. I'm hoping to cut it, and in about 30 days cut it again, and then again 30 days, maybe out into late August. I'll walk up here just real quick. Late August, cut it again, and then I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it and put in Timothy, probably Claire Timothy, on this field, and have a nice straight Timothy field in here. But it's looking better and better as it kind of grows up and leaves some of the weeds behind. But people say with teff grass, you don't need to spray it because it'll smother out the weeds. Well, I have never grown teff grass that you didn't have to spray it. And if you didn't, like I did last year, you're going to have all kinds of weeds come in. Now, broadleaf herbicides aren't going to take out little patches of Johnson grass here and there. And that's what I got. I may walk out there with a weed eater and literally grind that stuff to the ground. Or I may take a handheld weed wiper. On the far end up there next to that gate, there was a corner that it's just nothing but Johnson grass in there. And it's probably about a corner about as big as right in here. And I just mowed it down to kind of keep it under control. I still got to get in here and clean up some stuff, and over in here and right there. But the barn, customers have already noticed the barn is looking better and better in my barnyard. And like I said, I've been selling hay, and I've still got some videos of first cutting hay. I think I got about 4 videos between cutting and baling. And but some of my regular customers have gotten the message loud and clear that hay is short, and so all I got left are 2 wagons. Got a guy coming next week to take at least 1 load, maybe 2. He'll take all this, and then I got another fellow that's coming. He's going to be in here less than 2 weeks. Hopefully he'll be here before I cut this teff grass, and then I'll have these wagons emptied out. I don't know if there's enough hay out there. I don't know if there's enough teff grass out there to fill all these wagons. And then I got another one on the other side of that fence row. And anyway, between selling hay and baling hay and spraying, I'm really hitting the fields with herbicide. I'm talking about, I sprayed this, but my other fields below the road, I've been spraying them for broadleaf weeds, and I've been on the hill spraying up there where I had the forester mulcher take back, and you know, some of the broadleaf weeds and woody plants that would like to grow back. I've been busy knocking those things down with herbicide, and I'm not done. And like I said, you know, I've tripled my hay acreage between this and what I've got on the hill and on that low ground down there when I took those trees out a year or so ago. I've basically tripled my acreage. And so while a 50-gallon sprayer works, and I put down 10 gallons per acre, so you figure 5 gallons at a time, but it's trip after trip after trip after trip after trip. And it would just be real nice to fill up one sprayer, go out, and not stop. And that thing down there is moving up on my list in a big way. These autumn olives, I've got some old implements in here that it's grown around, but I'll get all that cleared out. So right here is my east field, and I'm especially pleased with this field and the green up that's going on. I think, see, we don't know whether to hit this ground or any of my haymaking friends. We talk about this drought. We're still in severe drought here, and we don't know if it's a good idea to put fertilizer down on these fields when all you get is a little shower that brings like a quarter-inch of rain. And you know, if we were getting rain, you know, an inch or two on a consistent basis, this stuff would really jump. But right now, the plan is to just let it grow and cut it in late August, early September. But you know, I cut at a 5-inch stubble, and that really goes a long way towards letting this grass recover. And even if I don't fertilize it, it's going to come up over the summer. I guess at some point it'll probably go dormant. Some of it will probably turn brown on the tips. But also at some point we'll start seeing probably, I don't know, late July, early August, we'll start seeing some stems come in. And that's this, some people call it grease grass, purple top. But I'll clip that with my 12-foot bat wing. And when I do, I feel like if I hit the tips of the grass that might have some brown on them, it'll stimulate the grass to grow, just like when you mow your, you know, when you mow your lawn. It kind of stimulates the grass. But you can see the toilet paper out there, right there and there. That's my TPS guidance system. So as I go along with the sprayer, I'm dropping bits of toilet paper to mark my spot. So a lot going on here. Some tractor repairs, some maintenance, selling hay, which is really good, and clearing the wagons. I haven't stacked a bale yet, and I don't want to. I want to leave them on the kicker racks and sell them off that. But if the teff grass fills up my kicker racks, then I don't have a whole lot of choice but to bring in the John Deere 335 round baler. And I think I can fetch a pretty good price for a bale of a round bale of teff grass. And another thing we're doing is if you've kept up with my videos, you know that I retired about it's been a year and a half, I guess. But the last probably 3 years I worked was difficult because of the time constraints of my day job. Added to that, my kids growing up and being on their own. And I'm on this farm now as a one-man show. I'm an army of one. And it's good that I got 7 days a week if I want it. But it's that that period of time where I was an Army of One with my day job and working an hour and a half off of this farm, it resulted in a lot of neglect. And so I've said all that to say this: I'm trying to bring back the quality of hay from the glory days. And that's why we're spraying for broadleaf weeds. We want the cleanest hay that we can get. And I want my hay to be second to none. You know, when somebody brings hay in from out west or up, you know, up north, like the hay gets trucked in here all the time in the bigger cities and around. And I used to be confident that nobody's hay was any better than mine, or mine was no worse than anybody else's. And so we want to return to that and the reputation that came with it. I had a reputation that when I would say, I don't know, you know, this hay's not all that great, people would buy it anyway because they felt like my crap hay was better than a lot of people's good hay. And that's kind of a nice thing to have in your hip pocket when you're selling hay. And that back then, uh, you see, our market is horse quality hay, but a big part of our market is hay that tests low in sugar, basically. A lot of horses have uh, metabolic issues and things like that. And there's some other animals that need certain characteristics on hay. And we used to check that box on all of them. And it's kind of expensive to have your hay forage tested. We use Equi-Analytical, their Trainer 603 forage test, which is wet chemistry. And I'm going to say that the test, and I've got a thing that I bore into bales of hay and I take core samples out of them and mix it all up and put it in a bag. Here in 2026, that test cost uh, $89. And then I spend probably $10 on basically a first class envelope to get the hay, the Equi-Analytical, and then they send me the test results. And they're coming back exceptional, to say the least. They check all the boxes. There was a professor at Virginia Tech in their veterinary group that a friend of mine turned me on to, and he had a criteria for basically easy keeper horses. But I also know from a metabolic horse standpoint what we're looking for in terms of test results, and we're just knocking those values out of the park. This teff grass hay is really good for horses. It's on par with Timothy, and if your horse is metabolically challenged, this stuff delivers the mail, even if it's got a few weeds in it. Anyway, that's the hay update for June 2026. Really busy here on the farm. This video is drug on a little bit longer than I want, but I just had an opportunity here this evening to make this video, so I thought I'd just go ahead and do it. So we'll talk to you later.